Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to Bass Trending Gist, where we break down the stories making waves across Nigeria. Today, we've got a massive one, a story that has been developing for years, has just taken a drastic turn. Former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose has been acquitted and discharged by the Federal High Court in Lagos over the alleged 6.9 billion fraud case brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. After a trial that started way back in 2018, you don't tell, with 28 witnesses called by the EFCC, the court has essentially said, Guy, you don't have enough evidence, but, and this is a big but, the story is far from over. The EFCC has already fired back saying they will appeal the judgment. So, what exactly happened in court? Let's get into the report first, and we'll come back and break this all down. So, sit back and take a watch.
Accused Ayodele Fayose of receiving 1.2 billion naira from a former national security advisor, Sambo Dasuki, through a former Minister of State for Defense, Musili Obanikoro, is also said to have received $5 million in cash from Mr. Obanikoro by passing financial institutions. The money was allegedly given to him in the build-up to the 2014 governorship election in Ekiti State. Mr. Fayose and his company, Portless Investment Limited, were initially arraigned in 2018 before Justice Mojisola Olatoregun, now retired, with the EFCC presenting some witnesses. But the anti-graft agency later secured a transfer of the case to Justice Aneke, where it started afresh. After calling about 28 witnesses, the EFCC closed its case, prompting the defendants to file a no-case submission. Lead defense counsel Kanu Agabi, SAN, argued that the prosecution failed to establish a prima facie case and that Mr. Fayose has no case to answer, as one Abiodun Agbele, who was allegedly involved in the offences, was not jointly tried. But the lead prosecution counsel, Rotimi Jacobs, SAN, had urged the court to dismiss the no-case submission. He added that the prosecution witness, Abubakar Madaki, an investigator with the EFCC, had testified that the former governor used associates to purchase properties both in Nigeria and abroad, who later denied ownership of the properties. The EFCC also argued that another prosecution witness, Mr. Abanikoro, had said the former governor personally requested the funds in cash and introduced Mr. Agbele to handle the delivery. But on Wednesday, Justice Aneke discharged and acquitted the defendants after holding that the prosecution failed to establish a prima facie case against them.
Our duty, should there be any appeal, is to defend, is to protect this extremely laconic, erudite decision.
My first tenure, I was charged. This tenure too, I was charged. And I'm not the only governor in Nigeria. I've gone through so much of trauma.
Reacting, the prosecution says efforts are on course to obtain a certified true copy of the court's decision so as to file an appeal. Kemi Foladiyemo, TVC News.
Yeah.
Ayodele Fayose, you don't win, no winner. Kata you go win forever, winner. Orí yóò dilé, Òṣogbo mọ́lẹ̀.
Sorry. Thank God.
All right, welcome back. As you just saw, it was a very emotional day for Fayose and his legal team. You saw him hugging his lawyers, wiping away tears. A very dramatic end to his chapter of the saga. But let's dissect this. So, the first thing to understand is the legal basis for this decision. Fayose's lawyer filed a no-case submission. In simple terms, this means they argued that the prosecution, the EFCC, after presenting all their evidence and witnesses, failed to establish a prima facie case. This doesn't mean the court declared him innocent in the way we normally think. It means the judge looked at everything the EFCC presented and concluded that the evidence was so weak, so insufficient, that there was no need for Fayose to even mount the defense. The judge basically told the EFCC, you haven't met the minimum threshold to even require an answer from the defendant. This is a huge blow to the prosecution. Now, let's look at the EFCC's case. They brought in heavy hitters as witnesses, including a former Minister of State for Defense, Musilius Obanikoro. The allegations were serious, that Fayose received over ₦1 billion and $5 million in cash by passing financial institutions. You no go through bank, you just carry them like that for suitcase. Now, these politicians, to fund his 2014 governorship election, the EFCC's argument was that these funds came from the office of the National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki. All of you remember that Dasuki gate. Now the money, now it is what they talk about now. So, where did it all fall apart for the EFCC? The defense argued that some of the key players allegedly involved weren't even charged alongside Fayose, which can create procedural loopholes. More importantly, it seems the connections and the evidence trail weren't strong enough to directly and irrefutably link Fayose to the crimes as charged. After calling nearly 30 witnesses, if you still can't convince a judge that there's a case to answer, it raises serious questions about the investigation and the strength of the evidence gathered. And of course, you cannot discuss this case without touching on political undertones. Ayodele Fayose has been one of the most vocal and aggressive critics of the APC-led government. This trial has been seen by his supporters as a political witch hunt from the very beginning. For them, this acquittal is a vindication. For the EFCC and the government, it looks like a major legal setback in their anti-corruption fight, honestly. But like I said, it is not over. The final clip you saw showed the EFCC's new position. They are appealing. This means the legal battle moves up from the High Court to the Court of Appeal. The EFCC will argue that the trial judge, Justice Aneke, was wrong in his decision to uphold the no-case submission. So, while Fayose is celebrating his freedom today, this cloud of litigation hasn't completely disappeared. So, what do you guys think? Is this a landmark victory for justice and a big slap on the face of political persecution, or is it a failure of our anti-corruption agencies to properly prosecute a high-profile case? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm really curious to hear your take on this. And that's all the gist we have for now. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Oba's Trending Gist and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.